What's up guys, I'm Kyle at Fortune Off-Road. In this video, I'm going to show you how to build a cargo storage rack for whatever your application is. I'm going to do it right here in my driveway. What up? My last video I was talking about how Genrite makes all these great products, and one before that I had this tire carrier get installed, and I've had a tire in it. The tire's super heavy and most of the time I just don't need it. Primary for this rack was to have storage in it, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to build a rack for it. I really wanted to buy the aluminum one that Genrite makes, but it's not on sale. That thing costs like 300 bucks, a little bit out of my budget for a rack right now. And I figured, hey, got some steel right here on the ground. I could just make one and basically copy the dimensions that Genrite has. And then, when Tony from Genrite starts following Fortune Off-Road and he starts seeing all this great stuff that we're doing over here, he'll probably sponsor me and then just send me one, and that'll be great. So thanks for doing that in the future, Tony. Welcome to the channel. Until then, we're gonna run this steel one. So this is gonna be like 44 inches by 14 inches by 2.5 or 3 lip around the side. This is all 1/8 inch steel, so it's considerably heavier than the aluminum, but it's gonna be tough. Every once in a while I'll get a comment on here and people are saying, man, you could use the table or something, right? And yeah, I wish I did have a good space to work on this, but my garage is thrashed. The Samurai's taking up all the space in there. Really wish I had a plasma table, but I don't. So this is how I do it. And I just tell myself, this keeps me flexible, keeps me young. And then when I go to bed at night, I say, why does my back hurt? I don't know. Holy smokes, that thing barely fits in there. That's close. So it's actually too long. I don't know how that happened, but now it's not gonna fit a lip around there. Honestly, let's see if the tire carrier will close like this. Yeah, that's just not gonna work because I need to have some kind of border around this thing. And now it's not really a basket, it's like a platform. I needed this to be down there. And I failed to account for these beams on the side right here. So I think what I'm gonna do is take some more measurements and figure out what I need to do to make that fit in the middle there. And then I'll just cut a little bit off of both sides and hopefully it won't impact the holes that I've drilled in here. That was 27 holes. If there's one thing I don't enjoy doing, that is drilling through steel. 27 times. And then it was like a pilot hole and then a slightly bigger one so I can fit a step bit in there. And I'm gonna have to lube this thing up real good and get it big enough to where I can fit a dimple die in there, because we're gonna dimple these to give this a little bit more rigidity and give it some drain spots, so if I ever have any parts in here or anything, won't be a problem. Oh my gosh, that was a lot. It continues. If you looked back probably 3 years ago, I've been saying since then, as soon as this Ryobi equipment dies, I'm going to invest in some Milwaukee stuff, and I have yet to buy anything. These Ryobi products just won't die. This poor drill has just been abused year after year. I don't know what to do, guys. I think I'm just going to rock Ryobi forever. So if I had one anti-power, I would say it's dropping stuff that I really need to hold on to. Every time I move or bend down in this video, that's what's happening. I'm dropping the die on the ground. And like if I had a nut or a bolt in my hand, I would be dropping that on the ground because, apparently that's just how I roll when I'm working on stuff. All right, that was a lot of drilling and cutting. and I finally got the main deck done. You can see at the end there I was using the press and the dimple die. I've got a video up here that shows me putting this thing together a while ago, and it's been rocking ever since. And I had a couple comments saying, hey, you shouldn't have welded that on, or this is wrong. Been going great. It's been years and it's still rocking. So anyways, I had a bigger dimple planned out for this thing, and I thought it would be better for weight savings to have a bigger hole there. And the drilling process, number one, was just too intense to go to a hole that big for now, unless I had like a press with enough room to do this in a bigger hole saw. So I decided to go smaller. But the other reason is if I have anything that I don't want to fall through this rack, the hole should be a little bit smaller. So I ended up going with a 3/4 inch inside hole, 1 inch dimple, and it looks like this. So this is what I'm calling the top side. So when this is all painted up and everything, this will be the inside basket that everything goes into. And then if you look at the other side, you can see all the dimples hanging out right there. This thing's pretty heavy. I don't know how much it weighs yet, but it's already heavy. And then I've got to put the rim on it, which I'm gonna do 2.5 inch basket edges, and then those are 1/8 inch too, because that's all I've got right now. So this is one end right here, and then these are 36 inches, but the basket's 40 now. 4-inch extensions, and then one more for the other side to cap it off. So I'm probably gonna cut these out, weld this on, and then do the holes again. And then I've got to do the holes in here and here. Those will be nice because those will be attachment points that I can put ratchet straps and bungee cords and things like that in. So the basket will be that high, and I did make sure that it fits between here. It sits all the way on the bottom, and then with the rack this high, it'll look like that. So it should be just on the inside of this license plate, and I can push a little bit, so I'll have the basket right there. I'm not sure how tall this is. I think it's about 12 inches. Let's see, this is 14 inches, so yeah, about 12 inches of basket in here, and then we can hang more stuff on this hoop too. So we're getting there. Time to do some more cutting, some more welding, some more dimpling. And you know, while I'm standing out in the hot sun all day doing this, the thought is constantly going through my mind, is this even worth my time? Should I just pay $300 and get this rack? Or, you know, am I gonna save a bunch of money doing this, you know? And I'm like, how long is this actually gonna take? It is really hot out here. But I like making stuff, so, you know, I'll put the time in, and I think it's a little bit more satisfaction you get when you have something cool that you made. You guys might recognize this Jeep. Over here at Kellen's house, I got my butt kicked by the hole saw and just all the drilling. I mean, I knew it was going to be horrible, but I started doing it by hand, and I'm like, dude, it's too hot out here. I can't do this anymore. So I called for help and said, dude, you got that monster drill press. Can you drill some holes for me? And he was like, oh my gosh, there's nothing I would rather do more on a Saturday that I'm supposed to be spending with my family than drill some holes in this steel for you. So thank God he's coming to the rescue. Hopefully makes it out to Barrett Lake with us soon. We'll see this thing in action again. All right, we've got all the pieces done now. You can see this one, side piece, it's pretty flat, and this one's really bowed. So what happens when you put these dimples in there, it ends up bowing the piece of metal. So what I did is just had a gloved hand and put it inside this 4x4 and just kind of pulled up on it and just bent it back straight. Now my whole base plate here is bent too, once again because of those dimples. That's what does it. But the trade-off is in the strength there, and makes it a little bit lighter. So now I think all the pieces are pretty much prepped up. What I'm going to do is start tacking it down and really try to concentrate on getting everything flat and make sure everything's nice and square. We'll weld it up, and then the next thing is going to be figuring out how to mount it to this rack. So storage rack we're building is steel. The tire carrier is aluminum, so there's not going to be any welding going on there, at least nothing I'm foreseeing. So let's get this thing welded up, and then we'll get on to that next step. Oh brother, it's hot out here. My welding jacket. All right, I'm gonna open up this tire carrier, and before we fully weld it up, I'm gonna see how everything lines up. All right, the rack is all welded up, and went over it with some mineral spirits and did the whole wire brush, all that, so it should be pretty cleaned up. I was getting ready to hang it up and paint it, and then I realized I haven't even mounted this thing up yet. So now I've got it sitting on the rack, and it's got a ratchet strap holding it in place so I can figure out how to mount this thing. Genrite has a super nice mounting kit on their website, and it welds onto the side right here, and then it clamps onto these parts. But I found a cheaper solution for it. It's not that I don't want to do the Genrite one, it's just I think it's like 50 bucks right now, and I have an idea to do this for a little bit cheaper. So I bought some of these tube clamps from Nylite. I've used these before. They're up on my roll cage right now. I've got them in the Samurai 2. Some people use these for their bumpers, and this can go from 1.5 to 2-inch tube, I believe, but essentially they just go like this, and they have some rubber grommets that clamp them on. So I've got to find the 1.75 size and go from there. For paint, I'm not using any primer or anything. I'm just going straight to the Seymour stainless black. This is the stuff I've been using on pretty much everything lately. It lays down super flat, hides a lot of the imperfections in the stuff that I make, and I think it looks really good. A bonus is this goes on super heavy, so you only have to do like 3 coats. I mean, probably don't even have to do that. That's just what I'm doing. And then also you can weld over it if you need to. So that, in my opinion, is pretty dang cool. Very limited on time and limited on space, and you can see behind me my garage is, you know, just a complete mess. But it's one of those things, like, yes, it's thrash, but I know where everything is. So if I need a wrench or a drill bit, I'm like, yeah, it's right over there under this and over that. And one of these days I'm just gonna have to do a deep clean and get it all sorted out, because pretty soon we're gonna start working on the Samurai in there, and I'm gonna need as much room as possible to get that thing finished. All right, fast forward to where we're at today. The storage rack is totally done. I've actually already taken it on one trip too, so this is a little bit after the fact, and I've got some shots here where you can see how it turned out. I think it turned out pretty cool. You know, the welds aren't perfect, the alignment isn't perfect, but it's kind of what I like about it. You know, it's something I made, and it really wasn't too difficult. It was just a little bit time consuming. I'd say it took me about 5 hours total, stretched out over a week, and very doable. If I was going to do this again, I would definitely go with a lighter gauge metal. 1/8 inch is just too much for my needs, and you know, it makes it harder to drill through. Everything takes a little bit longer when it's that thick, so if you can get something thinner, that'd be great. So I actually just got back from a trip to Barrett Lake. I don't want to give too much away, so I'll have that in the next video, but this is what I've got in the rack right now. I tried to go a little bit lighter, but really what this is it's air up, air down. And then over here I've got some spare parts, a tool bag, and then a bag I use for all my winching supplies, and then I just strapped my chair down on top. So I actually had a bunch more room. I could have gone higher and just did straps. I kind of just did a strap laterally and then one over this side for my chair, but I could have put way more in here. One of the issues I ran into is the weather. It was raining when we did the trail run, so I didn't want all my stuff to get soaked. Really, I didn't want any of it to get soaked, so that's something to consider if you're going to do this. Maybe get some type of waterproof bag that you can put all this stuff in. Full disclosure, I want to make sure you guys know this. These brackets that are holding it on from Nylite, these are made out of some sort of aluminum. I don't know how strong they are. They're made to mount lights and things like that. Definitely don't think they're rated to do this kind of stuff, but they're holding up. I had some really hard hits, including hard hits on the rack, and it's fine. Talked to some other guys while I was on the trail, and they were saying they use these for their roof racks and stuff. So we'll see how it goes. Over a long period of time, they might not last, but so far, doing just great. Anyways, guys, if you have questions, some feedback, maybe some tips for some future stuff, or anyone else that's going to try to build one of these in their driveway, put it down in the comments and let me know. If you want to see more stuff like this, I got a whole playlist of builds for the YJ, Samurai, etc. So yeah, if you want to consider subscribing, you'll see it when I work on these things, and then I go test them out on the trail and just keep making improvements. So thanks for checking out this video. I will see you guys in the next one.